Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2 Semester 1 review for Units 5 and 9.3 test. Let's make sure we read the directions where it says to show all of your work and no calculator. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with example or problem number 1. Now, once you look at this, the first thing I notice is that guy on the up top. Okay? When the exponent is outside with the parentheses, we need to distribute that to everything. And that 3 right there actually has a 1. Okay? So when we do that, all of the bases, the bottom, stay the same, but the exponents change. 3 to the 1 turns to 3 to the third. -2, you multiply that by 3, and you get -6. And then x, 4 times 3 is 12. Okay? And now everything on the bottom stays the same. So y to the 8th, c to the -5th, and x to the 16th. Okay, now, a couple things we're going to do. First, 3 to the 3rd. 3 to the 3rd power is 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, now, when the exponent is negative, you drop it down. Okay, you drop it like it's hot. If it's already on the bottom, you bring it to the top. Okay, and now all the other exponents, wherever they're at, they stay the same. So x12, y8, x to the 16th. And we're going to change the order of all of those in just a minute. All right, now for our final answer, let's start looking at the exponents. X is who wins, the top or the bottom? The bottom wins, and the bottom wins by 4. Okay? Your y's, there's only y's on the bottom, so we're putting these in alphabetical order. And now the z's, who wins, the top or the bottom? Hopefully you're saying, Mr. Grice, the bottom does. Good. And the bottom wins. So on. And the only thing now that we're left on the top is the 27. And then that's your final answer. All right, number 2, inequalities. The x is in the middle, or the w is in the middle, and we want to solve for w. And we're going to do that by following the rules of SADMAP, the reverse order of operations. So what you do to one side, you have to do to all the sides. All right? So -4 plus 7 is 3. The -3w stays there. And 14 plus 7 is 21. Now, to get the w all by itself, we have to divide by -3. And when you divide by a negative, we have to flip the signs. 3 divided by -3 is -1, and 21 divided by 3 is -7. Now, the last thing that we have to do to this is our numbers have to be in numerical order. Okay, so the -7 comes first, and now we have to make sure our inequalities are pointing the same way. When we're looking at these two right here, who is it pointing at? Well, it's pointing at the -7, so I have to make sure it stays pointing at the -7. And we're going to do the same thing right there. It's pointing at the w. I want to make sure it's pointing at the w. And then that's our final answer. All right, number 3. 3 we treat like they're two separate problems. So we want to add 3 to both sides. We get 2x is less than 8. Divide by 2. And we get x is less than 4. Okay, let's go on the other side. Subtract 9 to both sides. We get negative 3x is less than or equal to negative 21. To get the x by itself, we have to divide by a negative 3. And when we divide by a negative 3, we have to flip the sign. Okay? And so we're left with x is less than 4 or x is greater than or equal to 7. And it didn't ask us to graph them, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay? All right, number 4. So the area A of a trapezoid is area equals 1/2 height, parentheses base 1 plus base 2, where height, h is the height of the trapezoid, b1 is the length of one of the bases and of the trapezoid, and b2 is the length of the second base of the trapezoid. It says find the height, so the height is what we're looking for. Tells us that area is 28 and the bases are 9 and 5. So what I like to do, draw a little picture of a trapezoid so I know what we're looking at. There's our height. It's telling us the area is 28 and it's 5 cm and 9 cm. Okay, so that's the picture that we're dealing with. Now what we're going to do is we're going to plug into this formula all of the information. All right, so we know that the area is 28 equals 1/2 height, and that's 5 plus 9. So we do the parentheses first. 5 plus 9 is 14. We can multiply in any order, so half of 14 is 7. And now to get h by itself, divide both sides by 7, and you get that the height equals 4. Okay? And now we have to make sure that we label it, and that's 4 centimeters. And we're done. We found what we were looking for. Okay, number 5. Graph 4x minus 3y equals 9. Remember when we graphed that we wanted in y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to take my equation and I want to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract the 4x, subtract the 4x. Those are different. We cannot combine them. So it's negative 4x plus 9. Divide everything by negative 3. And we get y is equal to 4/3, because 2 negatives make a positive when you're dividing, x. And a positive divided by negative is a negative. So there's my equation. I want to know that my slope is 4/3, so that means I'm going up 4 and to the right 3. And my y-intercept is 0, negative 3. So I have to start at negative 3 down here. And then we're going up 4 over 3. Up 4 over 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. Up 4 over 3. Okay? And then once you get everything set, go ahead and use a ruler and draw your line. for number 6, it says to find the x and y-intercepts. So when we're finding the intercepts, one of the other numbers equals 0. So x-intercept, y-intercept. We have to do the equation twice. So 2x, I'm just going to rewrite each one of these 2 times. Now the x-intercept is when y equals 0. And 9 times 0, boom, 0. So we're left with 2x equals 18. Divide both sides by 2. And we get x equals 9. So that intercept right there, x is 9, y is 0. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing over here, except now x is 0. 2 times 0, 0. And those cancel out. So negative y equals 18. Divide both sides by negative 9. And we get y equals negative 2. And then to plug it in, x is 0, y is negative 2. And those are our 2 answers. Right. Number 7, write the slope-intercept equation of a line through negative 3, 5, and with a slope of 2, negative 3. So one of the things that I noticed is they gave me a point and they gave me slope. So that means that I have to use the point slope form. Okay, we've also written it where we kind of just leave it out like this. Y minus your y equals slope x minus your x. Okay, and all we're doing is plugging into the equation. So y minus, I want my y right there, which is negative 5, equals my slope, which is negative 2/3 x minus my x. Okay, so first thing I notice is some click, so that's actually a positive 5, and that's actually a positive 3. So I need to distribute right here. So we get y plus 5 equals negative 2/3 x. And then I need to do 2 over 3 times 3 over 1. Okay? Now if you just multiply straight across, you get negative 6 over 3, which reduces to negative 2. Alright? And to solve for y, we have to, why did I write 7? So, subtract the 5 to both sides, and you get y equals negative 2 over 3x minus 7. And there you go, we solved for y. Alright, last one on this side. Write the slope-intercept equation of the line 3, negative 2, and 6, negative 1. Or negative 6, 1. So, when it's asking us to do this, the first thing that we have to do is find the slope, and then 2 is we plug into point slope, that formula we just did. Okay? So, there's my slope formula. Remember, the y's go on top, and the x's go on the bottom. Negative 2 minus 1 gives us negative 3. And 3, boom, boom, click, click. 3 plus 6 gives us 9. And that slope reduces to negative 1/3. That's the first thing that we need. And now we can pick either point, okay? It doesn't matter because we're going to plug right back into that formula that we just used, okay? Our slope is negative 1/3, and then I'm going to go with that one right there. So we got negative 2 and 3. Click, click, y plus 2. We're going to distribute the negative 1/3. So negative 1/3 x, and then we have to distribute to the negative 3. So negative 1/3 times negative 3 over 1. Well, that's 3 over 3. When you multiply two negatives, it gets a positive, and 3 over 3 is 1. So plus 1. And then to get the y by itself, you have to subtract 2 to both sides. And we get y equals negative 1/3 x minus 1. And that's our final answer, so I'm going to put it in a box. All right, well, that's it for the Semester 1, Unit 5 and 9.3 review, Side 1. If you have any questions on this, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. Otherwise, thanks for watching.